Hello, welcome back to Coach's Corner on the Double Duty Agent Podcast. I am your host, Carla Higgins. And today, maybe I'm not as excited today as I normally am because today we're going to tackle a very sobering statistic. It's one that absolutely I hate, and it's what drives me. It's actually what causes me to lose sleep some nights and what keeps me up because according to the National Association of Realtors, 75% of all agents fail within their first year and a staggering 87% fail within the first 5 years. And these numbers, as much as I hate them, they beg the question, why do so many agents leave the business? And more importantly, how can you avoid becoming part of this statistic? Right? So I've been coaching since May of 2020, and I have come to believe that there are two main reasons why agents leave the business. And either they don't know their job, they just don't know what it is, they don't know what they need to do to be successful, or they know what to do and they choose not to do it. So let's break this down a little bit. Agents don't know their job. If you don't understand what you're supposed to do daily to succeed, it's hard to make progress. Now think about this. You're a double duty agent, you have another job. Do you know what your job responsibilities are? Do you know what you are expected to do every day when you go to work? I'm guessing the answer is yes. And if you just chose not to do your job, what would happen? Well, maybe you wouldn't be double duty very long. That's probably what would happen. You'd lose your job. You might get written up, be put on probation, and then eventually, if you still continued not doing your job, you would lose your job. All right, so let's talk about your job as a real estate agent. Now, I don't know if you're like me, but when I got my real estate license, for some reason, I thought my job was going to be showing houses. And I was shocked to find out that that was not on the job responsibility list. Exactly. And I'll talk about the exactly in just a minute. But let's talk about your 5 job responsibilities. Now, after I give you these 5, you're going to say, but Coach Carla, how about this? How about this? Yes, there are other things that you can do as part of your job, but these are the 5 must-dos. So we got to make sure we do the must-dos before we do the can-dos. Okay? Your 5 must-dos. 1 is that you must practice conversations. You must build your skills. You need to practice having a buyer's consultation. You need to practice having a listing presentation. You need to practice your phone calls. You need to practice overcoming objections. You need to practice explaining contracts to your clients. You need to be able to practice your value proposition and asking for your compensation from your clients. You need to practice these things. Now, I don't know about you, but I want the professionals in my life to practice. I want my doctor, I want to know that whatever procedure I'm having, that he's practiced it before. I certainly, absolutely want my dentist to have practiced using the drill before he fills my fillings, right? I want, attorneys even call it the practice of law, right? Practice is an integral part. And for some reasons, this is just one of those things that agents just almost refuse to do. And that is a contributor to those statistics that are sad, right? So practicing your conversations. After you practice your conversations, you need to have them. We call that lead generation. Lead generation just means talking to people. Remember, we focus on an outcome, which is being of service to others. We are not in a sales business. You're not going to get somebody to buy a house or sell a house if they don't want to. You are just calling people to find the people who need your help. So you're just calling to check in with them, build relationships so that when they need your help, they remember to reach out to you. And then asking the magic question, who do you know that might need my help? That is what lead generation is. If you're not lead generating, if you're not actively looking for people that need your help, then you're not going to last in this business very long and you're going to be part of that 87% statistic. All right, in addition to lead generation, we also have to do lead follow-up. The difference between lead generation and lead follow-up is that when we lead generate, people tell us yes or maybe. Yes, they want to buy or sell, invest in real estate, or maybe they might want to buy, sell, or invest in real estate. The maybes, these are the ones we have to follow up with. We have to make sure that we stay top of mind with them so that when they're ready, they think of us. And we don't call them down the road and find out that they've already bought a house with somebody else, which we don't want. Then somebody else is going on vacation with our money, basically. Now, what happens here is if we spend all of our time lead generating and we forget about the lead follow-up piece, well, somebody else, like I just mentioned, is going to end up representing those clients and helping them with their home needs. And if we spend all of our time following up with the people that told us yes or maybe, and we forget to find new people to add to our pipeline, well, again, we're not going to be in business very long, and we're going to be part of that statistic. All right, so that's 3 things, right? We've got practicing our conversations, and then having our conversations, lead generating and lead following up. If we've done those 3, the next 2 come pretty easy as long as we've practiced going on appointments. Now, going on appointments, these are our listing appointments, buyer strategy sessions or buyer consultations, and we have to ask for these. The number one way not to get an appointment is not to ask for one. So you have to be listening for when they crack the door open just a little bit. If they say to you, for instance, well, I've been working from home and it's really challenging. I'm tired of working from my kitchen table. And you say, oh goodness, do you not have office space in your home? And they say, no, I wish we did. And you said, well, it sounds like maybe we need to get together and talk about what it might look like for you to purchase a home with an office. What's good for you? Would you like to do an evening or a weekend? That's the way we ask for an appointment. We have to ask for the appointment to get it, and we're looking for a listing presentation or a buyer consultation. And if we've asked for appointments and we've gone on them, then we get the opportunity to negotiate contracts. So these are our 5 job responsibilities. Now, back to my story. I thought that my job was going to be showing houses, and I was super excited about that. For some reason, the thought never occurred to me that I was going to need to find people to show houses to. And that's basically what we're talking about here. So what I did is I made lead generation open houses. I did 3 to 5 open houses every week when I was a brand new agent. And so that way I got to show houses as part of my job. But the reason why showing houses to a buyer is not part of your job is it's something that you can leverage out. You could hire a showing assistant to show houses for you. And actually, as a double duty agent, this may be a relationship, a leverage relationship that you really need in your business, a showing assistant. Because that way, if you have buyers who want to see homes while you're at work, you can just say, I have an assistant, another agent that helps me with showing. And so either one of us will be showing you the house. And don't worry, if my showing assistant shows you the house, then I will follow up with you after you've seen the house and be able to help you if that ends up being the house that you want to purchase. So a showing assistant, that's why that is not one of your job responsibilities, although there are several things that aren't on that list that you may choose to do. But I want you to remember, as a double duty agent, we have to be really strategic about leverage, okay? So in addition to not knowing your 5 job responsibilities, there are a few other things where there are some gaps that I think are where agents have issues. And this is why that statistic of 87% don't make it come from. And one is that they lack business planning. They just jump into the business and they don't have a roadmap. They don't set goals. They don't define strategies, and they do not track their progress. And without a clear plan, they get lost, basically. If you think back, if you've been doing this for a while as a brand new agent, it's very overwhelming. It's overwhelming whenever you're doing something new. And so obviously it's going to be overwhelming. But if they don't have a plan, a roadmap, and have some defined goals and they know how to reach those goals, then it may not work out. And that may be one. And then sometimes they set unrealistic expectations. Some agents completely underestimate the work that's required. they've seen highlight reels or they watched HGTV, successful agents closing deals, having flashy cars, and they just don't realize the work that was behind that. So they just have a wrong impression of the industry. They think it's a get rich quick kind of business, and that's just really not the case. They have a poor understanding of lead generation itself. Lead generation, like we talked about, this is the lifeblood of your business. This is just finding people that need your help. Many agents, they don't know where to find leads, and they don't know how to nurture them effectively, and they don't have a pipeline. So without a pipeline, they don't have deals. They also have this need for instant gratification. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago. We know the analogy for lead generation in your real estate business is like planting a tomato plant from seed. We plant a seed in the garden in May, and then we water it and we tend to it all summer long. And when we get to the end of July and the beginning of August, then we get to harvest the tomato plant, the fruit, right? We get to harvest from the plant. And our business is the same way, right? We can plant the seed in May and nurture it and maybe have a closing in July or August. This is a good analogy for our business. Another thing that agents don't do well enough is they do not do their training, right? Real estate is more than just showing houses. It's about negotiating, and it's also about marketing and prospecting, and we have to have those skills. So as a double duty agent, sometimes this is really challenging because a lot of the trainings are available only during the hours when you are at work. So this is why I have Ignite After Dark. And if you don't know what that is, if you go to the doubledutypodcast.com and you click on coaching, you can find a link and you can join us for Ignite After Dark. It's absolutely free. And that's going to help you build that foundation and get all the training in that you need. And then another thing that causes agents to fall down on this under this category or umbrella of not knowing their job is that agents fail to build a support network. Real estate can feel isolating, especially for new agents and most especially for double duty agents. So if you don't have a mentor or a coach to guide and support you, it's going to be really challenging. And that leads us right into agents that choose not to do their job. Sometimes the knowledge is there. They know what they need to do, but the execution is missing. And there are just a few really common pitfalls. And one of them is inconsistency. Inconsistency, especially with lead generation. Lead generation isn't glamorous. It can actually be a little tedious and boring sometimes, but it's absolutely essential. And many agents avoid picking up the phone, knocking on doors, or sending follow-ups because it's uncomfortable, and that's when those limiting beliefs come in. Our ego is trying to protect us, trying to keep us comfortable, and it's going to tell us, oh, don't call them. They don't want to hear from you. It's been so long since you heard from them. They're going to think it's weird that you called. Your ego tells you that you're going to sound salesy. No, those are limiting beliefs, and we've had prior episodes where we've talked about unlimiting your beliefs. You must do that work. Also, a lack of discipline. Real estate offers incredible freedom, but that freedom can be a double-edged sword. Like we're our own boss. And one of the very first things that we need to do as an agent to be successful is we need to create a work schedule for ourselves for our real estate business. But then there's nobody to monitor if we stick to the schedule. So without discipline and accountability, it's easy to waste time and to forget about our 5 job responsibilities and mistake movement for achievement, which we don't want that to happen. A lot of agents, they avoid having hard conversations. So whether it's negotiating with clients or asking for referrals, some agents shy away from what they consider to be tougher parts of the job. I personally think asking people the magic question, who do you know that might need my help, really isn't that tough or challenging, and that's asking for a referral. Here's another big one. It is time management, poor time management. Agents often fail to prioritize the tasks that move the needle, those 5 things, like prospecting, like your lead generation, over less critical activities. Like they spend all day, they say, Coach Carla, I worked all last week on my website. No, your website's already pre-built for you. If you're at Keller Williams, you do not need to work on your website. You need to be lead generating and find people that need your help. Websites are just out there. They are not often found, and they're competing with how many other agents' websites. That's not a priority. And then the last thing that happens sometimes is burnout. So without clear boundaries or a healthy work-life counterbalance, it will lead to exhaustion. Burnout often causes agents to lose their motivation, and this is another reason why they leave the business. Not all bad news here. I got lots of good news for you. Okay, we're going to fix this and make sure you are in the 13% that make it. So we're going to focus on solutions. If success in real estate comes down to knowing your job and doing your job, all we have to do is ensure that you're hitting both marks. So know your job, those 5 things we just talked about. Practicing your conversations, lead generation, lead follow-up, going on appointments, negotiating contracts. Take training, look into Ignite if you need to. Get a coach or a mentor to help you master the fundamentals. Create a business plan. We have just wrapped up the 2025 goal setting clinic workshop a couple of weeks ago. And if you go to podcast.com under coaching, you'll see if you did not attend the goal setting workshop, you can absolutely get the recording and do the work. But you need to set clear goals for income, your number of transactions, and then break that down into the activities that you need to do every day. And you need to have a lead generation system. I have the double duty 5x5 that I've shared with you in the past. That is a lead generation system. I did a lead generation mastery workshop in October, and if you didn't attend that, you can also access that recording at doubledutypodcast.com. But whether it's open houses, you have a social media strategy, you're farming neighborhoods, you have got to find a method that works for you and create a system that you can master. And then the next thing you have to do is just do your job. Just do the work. Time block for success. Schedule your day with time blocks for lead generation, lead follow-up, leave time for your appointments. Make sure you have your time built in for your practice, for your skill building. And then hold yourself accountable and get a coach or an accountability buddy, somebody to help you make sure that you're taking the action that you need consistently. Consistency is the important piece here. And then focus on the fundamentals. Stick to the income producing activities, your lead generation, your lead follow-up, and then take care of yourself. Set boundaries and build a work schedule that provides counterbalance between your job, your W-2 job, or your other commitments that you have that make you double duty, your real estate work, and your personal and family life so that you avoid burnout. Real estate industry is not for the faint of heart. This is not a get-rich-quick enterprise, but success is absolutely achievable, and it's an amazing business. You can achieve anything that you desire with this business, but you have to commit to knowing your job and doing your job. And if you're struggling, remember, you do not have to figure this out alone. I'm here to help you if you don't have another coach, or just find a coach. Join a mastermind group or partner with other agents to stay on track. Do something to get the support that you need so that you can be successful. All right, if this episode resonated with you, I want to challenge you to take one step today towards mastering your craft. Whether it's signing up for some training, making your 5 calls today, or setting up your time block schedule, creating your goals for 2025, whatever it is, just take some action. You have got this, and I am here to help you along the way. So thanks for joining me for this episode of Coach's Corner. If you know another agent that might benefit from this, that wants to be part of that 13% that survive and thrive in this business, please share this episode with them. And if I've earned it, I would love if you would give this podcast a 5-star rating. That helps me connect with other agents. And until next week, let's keep building your business one step at a time, thriving, pushing forward, and you will rise as a double duty agent. I will see you next week.